Call the meeting to order. We need to adopt the agenda. I have a motion for that.
Make a motion to adopt the agenda.
All right, Ms. Burns has made a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
Mr. Reeves seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And that's unanimous. Thank you. 2.1, letter of support of a licensure reform letter. Dr. Taylor.
Good morning, everybody. So what you have in front of you, the state has asked for support from local boards of education and folks in HR to support licensure reform. Currently, licensure in North Carolina is honestly considered a roadblock for our out-of-state teachers that come in. Used to have reciprocity between the states. So if you're licensed in South Carolina, for example, and wanted to teach in North Carolina, it was automatic component to that. They would just grant that license in North Carolina. We currently have to require these teachers to take the entrance praxis exams like they would if they were coming out of college fresh out, even if they've taught 10, 15 years in another state. Same thing holds true for international teachers. They would still have to take those tests as part of the requirement. So this would be a support letter and a resolution. Obviously, Brandon would need to take a look at that resolution for you guys. It's a draft version, of course. But it's support for reform to allow more flexibility for teachers and institutions such as ours to be able to hire teachers of high quality without having them jump through what I consider hoops. Yeah. So.
And I was going to say, this is not affecting quality of our teachers in any way or certification or anything. This is just allowing us to have a smoother transition process in hiring.
They've already been through the governing bodies of whatever state or institution they came from. They have a clear license. They have to go back through that process with North Carolina currently. It used to not be that way. It used to be reciprocity between Virginia and North Carolina, other states as well. So it's a letter of support to go back to that. And hopefully that will help to alleviate some of the teacher shortage that we have.
When did reciprocity end?
I don't know exactly. It's been there for, I would say, 10 or so years.
Wow.
Brandy, you might have the exact date, but somewhere around that time frame.
It's been about 11 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But I will tell you,
And they keep adding to it. Like they would, okay, Paul, you need to do this. Oh, yeah, and by the way, this too. And then, oh, yes, and this too. So they've added to it over the years as well.
and so they've actually, so in two ways, they've done things that are very interesting. On one way, they have made it more complicated for teachers coming from out of state. On the other hand, if you are a military spouse who is also a licensed teacher, they've made it easier for you to get licensed. They've made it, it's some picking and choosing to a degree. But I think if North Carolina is just like every other state, you have a teacher shortage. And so one of the ways to help that is you're a destination for lots of folks. So let's make it easier for them to come work for you.
Ultimately, the principal and team at the school would select the candidate, the best choice. What we're trying to do is expand the pool of candidates that they would select from. As you all know, some schools have a harder time getting candidates than others, but certainly it does not take away from the process of selecting a teacher for the classroom. That's still going to be primarily the principal and school teams that have that process together.
If Brandon will review it, and if you guys decide to do that, that'll be fine. Thank you.
Board, just so you know, I've taken a look at the resolution. I see no issues with it. But that's for you guys for your next meeting.
I'll bring it to the June meeting for action. If you have any questions about it, let me know. And I'll have the second one too, which is the first read of policy 6550. This policy is the vandalism policy. The board asked that we re-examine that policy and put consequences that fit the actions better. So you'll see that vandalism, serious vandalism, property damage is a level 3 violation, which can be first offense, results in a 10-day suspension, and possibly may result in long-term suspension as well. In addition, the offense could result in a 90-day suspension from all extracurricular activities, including but not limited to athletics. And there is a provision in there that makes the student's parent or guardian financially liable for the damage. Those, all three things were added to that policy. So this is first read. Any questions on this policy? This will also be brought back to the June meeting as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. 3.1, Dr. Sawyer.
Good morning, Board. Last month, the only curriculum renewal that we weren't able to bring because we didn't have the quote ready was Common Lit 360. Common Lit is our literacy ELA curriculum for 6-8. We're looking for a 3-year renewal on that. It's about $41,000 per year for 3 years, broken down in the fiscal applications that are there, implications that are there. Common Lit is, along with the professional learning they get from teachers, assessments, there's comprehensive reading and writing curriculum that align with the North Carolina state standards. We did poll the teachers. We surveyed the teachers in 6-8 to see if they were interested in renewing. With the new standards coming out at the state level, we're in a really good place to renew before the new standards come out, before we have to actually go through an actual adoption process within the end of those 3 years.
When do the new standards come out?
They come out in 2 years for like full implementation. So that last year, this will be ending. We'll be able to go through a whole process of renewal in case we need to purchase something new. The state is doing some high-quality instructional material work where they're going to be doing some stuff on the back end and giving us approved North Carolina resources that align and match. Common Lit is one that they are looking at through that process. So we're in a really good kind of in-between space to renew what we started 3 years ago. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. Consent or action for next meeting? When I did all of them, we put it on action because there was a whole lot. Do you want me to put this one on action, or do we want to put it on consent? It
You don't
doesn't
mind it
matter
on
to me
consent?
either way.
Consent is
I
fine.
Yeah.
think it's-
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
We can change it again.
All right. 4.1, Bordeaux update, Dr. Grimm.
Yes, good morning, Board. Morning, Dr. Breedlove. Morning. Yeah. So all the items underneath number 4, they're all upcoming at the next meeting. So I'll just go through these quickly. Bordeaux will give their update. If you have questions, stop me and ask me, but Bordeaux will give their update. MVP will give their bi-monthly update. And then Bordeaux's pay app number 23 will be MVP's pay app number 9. We'll go through the change orders for approval. HES is going to come back with a proposal for a CPI increase for their staff. I've spoken to them, and they're ready with a better update. So they'll come and share that with you. And then Mr. Overton came and spoke about maybe some changes, adjustments to the 3-tier bus system. And so I know you were waiting you want to get some response from the public. And so he'll be here at the June meeting to talk with you again about that and get your feedback. So those are all the items underneath number 4. Any questions? Okay?
Right. And J.H. Lee.
J.H. Lee, all right. So we have two items today, and these will, I'm very excited about both of these items underneath our action items, but we're going to start with the furniture buy. And we have worked months on this. I think we started probably late October, early November, and we just had our last meeting last week for the colors of the furniture. So it's been numerous man hours. And I need to start off by saying thank you to all of the teachers that have been involved in this process, principals, directors, cabinet members. It's just numerous educators have been involved in the furniture selection. And so we wanted to get the end user involved because they are the ones that are going to be using this furniture and setting it up. And so we needed their input. And they have provided great information. So New Idea was selected to serve as the contractor from the state contract based on price, the quality of the furniture that we've purchased before from New Idea, and their ability to provide professional development. They have educators on their team, and setting up your classroom a certain way to make it collaborative does make a difference in student achievement. I know that personally from being an educator. And so to get that professional development is going to be very important. So they'll work with us and send a team out. And so that was a real selling point. And they're going to get us the furniture on time. And it'll be here next spring. And so when Bordeaux says that we can get into the school, if they say we can get in early, we will put it in early and get it set up. So we have a lot of confidence in New Idea. So, and then would you put up the MVP dashboard, please? All right. We worked really hard to come in and to meet the budget. There's a lot of extra things we probably could have bought, but we came in and bought what was needed in that classroom. And so we have $4,372,000. $342 set aside, $72.42 set aside for this, and we came in under budget, and the total cost is $4,338,192.14. So we're excited that we're able to get that down under budget, and again, we worked really hard to make that happen. This is a very large building. It's one of the largest K-8s I've ever seen in my life, with 291,000 square feet and 131 classrooms. So it's a big building to equip. And this furniture, when you see it, it's pretty amazing. I never had anything like this when I was a teacher, but it's going to create a more engaging classroom. It's going to be flexible. You're going to be able to move it around much easier than the traditional furniture. It's going to create a great student learning environment for our kids. And I think we're going to have a lot of visitors to this school to see what we've done with it. Matt Riddick from New Idea and Lori Pittman from Mosley Design will come up today, and they're going to do a presentation for you that'll be approximately 15 minutes to show you the various learning spaces and the furniture that's going to go in those spaces. You won't see every room just due to time, but we also outfitted other smaller offices, like for the gym teacher, they're going to get an office. The OT, occupational therapist, the speech therapist, you won't see those offices. And we didn't do any outside furniture at this time. Hopefully our community, our PTOs may help us with that. And it's I believe it's in the best interest of the board. We don't know what the numbers are going to look like when we start the school, but I believe it's in the best interest of the board to go ahead and equip the entire school at 25, 26 prices, because I don't know how quickly things are going to grow over there. I have a feeling that we could have some rapid growth, and I think it would be best just to already have everything in that school. And we came in underneath budget to equip the entire school. So with that, if there's no questions for me, I want to turn it over to Matt Riddick and Lori Pittman to go ahead and begin the presentation. And if you have trouble seeing anything, I guess maybe we could dim a light. That might be a good idea. So you let us know. All right. Thank you. Okay.
Good morning, board members. Dr. Breedlove.
Good morning.
Great to see you. First off, thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it. My name is Matt Riddick. I'm with New Idea. As Dr. Grimm said, I'll be talking about the furniture. I had a nice little spiel ready, but I feel like he kind of already took a lot of my thunder there. We have worked, like he said, for over 6 months. I would say that we've worked with more than 30 different teachers, probably 8 to 10 different principals, people at the cabinet, people at the district office level, to make sure that furniture is correct for Pender County. Like I said, we've done about 3 different iterations, even as much as last week, finalizing colors. So on this presentation, we have not had a chance to update all the colors, so a few of them are not going to be accurate, but they will be, and we'll get that back over to Dr. Grimm. Like I said, we just finalized Thursday afternoon, so I've had a team of 3 designers working on this. As he said, there's about 140 classrooms in this building, not counting cafeterias, admin, media centers. Please stop me if you have any questions. I would love to, answer anything that I can. And to kind of reiterate, on top of everybody at Pender, we've had a lot of great support from Mosley. Lori's even here helping me today look at a couple of the areas that we discussed. So last but not least, I think it's an important piece to reiterate is the professional development. I know that's something important, Dr. Breedlove and Dr. Grimm, that we're not just putting new furniture in there and then trying to go same old route. It's talking about the different vertical learning spaces, how we can reset up classrooms, things like that. So, any questions before I get started?
No.
All right. So here's a quick overview of a middle school typical classroom. I'll say one adjustment is I think it was important to make sure we had 30 desks and chairs in there. Right now we currently had 25. I think when we were looking at budget, we had skimmed down a little bit. Also, I think you'll see this throughout the presentation in different rooms, is choice of seating for students. So in the middle school, you have 2 additional tables. One, both of them are adjustable height, where a student could go stand on, perch on if they just need a minute to stand up, stretch their legs. The other one has adjustable height wobble stools with it. Both of those tables will flip up so that, especially the marker board top, if a couple students are, collaborating, working together, be able to flip it up and present it out. Mosley has provided a lot of nice built-in storage in here, and we've supplemented in the middle school. In the bottom left is what we call a transporter cabinet. It's a big lockable cabinet, makes everything look clean on wheels as well. I think in this school, everything we have is on casters, with the exception of the EC classrooms, which administrators thought it was important that those weren't as mobile. Now I'll give you a couple, and maybe just to level set a little bit, that screen up front is going to be you guys' clear touch technology. We just kind of wanted it in there as a placeholder so people can see. The 2 whiteboards behind it are going to be provided by the general contractor. Once again, you just get to see the collaborative grouping that you can do, that you can have a lot of different options with the furniture. On the back wall, we have put a 6x20 whiteboard on there. It's actually a series of 5 different whiteboards, once again, giving students vertical learning space. We are doing that in every classroom from 4th through 8th. Then kind of going down to the kindergarten, 1st grade classrooms, they're going to look identical. Instead of individual desks, we have tables. All the rooms are going to meet the DPI standards as far as number of students in the room. In K1, we're going to have 2 kidney tables just for a couple of different centers with the wobble stools. Storage looks a little bit different here. On the left-hand side, you can see the top view. It's two small bookcases. The idea of that is so that students can be able to push those up to whatever centers they're working at. And then kind of in the picture, you can kind of see it. It's got some tote storage for manipulatives and things of that nature. Just another shot. You see your two whiteboards there. Once again, this being lower level, we did not put a marker wall on the other side. I'm sorry, I should step back a quick second. Every classroom is going to be equipped with a teacher's desk and as well as a mobile lectern, so teachers can move around the classroom. Second and third, we get into desk with the idea of being kind of back to testing. Might need to separate desk. So these are going to be miniature versions of the middle school classrooms. In second and third, I think we landed at 22 desks. Same storage as K1, you've got the two mobile bookcases, and starting in second grade and up, we're just doing one kidney table. One of the things to mention is the carpets is one of the areas we do not have picked out, so we have those in as placeholders, but K through 3 will have rugs in there. Then going up to fourth and fifth, much like sixth through eighth in the middle school, we are going to go up to 30 students per classroom just to make sure we're built up. I know there's a lot of classes currently that have 27, 28, 29 students in them. I think it was important to make sure that we kind of hit that number. They will have one kidney with the hockey stools. They have the same storage and teacher setup in the classrooms. And fourth and fifth, we'll have the marker wall on the back wall as well. So they'll have two marker boards up front with your clear touch screen, and then we'll have one wall that has the 20-foot marker board. Just another shot of it. All the elementary has a lot of built-in casework in the back. I'm not sure if that's exactly the way it looks. Our designers tried to get it as close as we could. That's mostly building it in Bordeaux, but we wanted it as close as we could. Any questions about the regular classrooms, or keep on moving into the EC? All right. A couple of the EC classrooms in middle school, they're side by side, separated. They have the bathroom and a common area. These are almost identical with the exception of the tables in the middle. In talking with everybody, we wanted just a little variety in there. The ones on the right are going to be a marker board table. The ones that almost look like a yin and yang you can pull apart will be a marker top for those students. Still have desk, two teacher desks in there, one lectern, and a lot of soft seating and storage. Let me kind of flip over where you can see some storage in the back with the totes for manipulatives. We wanted to show a shot of the swing. This won't be the exact swing that's in these EC classrooms, but Lori can help talk about it in just a second when she comes up. But we wanted to make sure that we had room for a swing in these classrooms in a corner. I know she's been working with Bordeaux to make sure that, you know, the structure's in there for that. We don't have the exact swing in our furniture, so it doesn't render probably exact, but she'll be able to discuss that a little bit. Once again, more storage in the top right. You can see open cubbies. Then we have vertical files, one of those transporter cabinets. The transporter cabinet's the only one that is on wheels in this classroom. Then talking about some of the fun stuff for the classroom, we have these two Anderson chairs, which are kind of the lower, almost look like whistle chairs, I think some people might call them. I will say we did change the design on the outside, so the colors are going to be more similar to the couch. The couch is a series of 3 linear chairs, so they can be broken apart or put together as a couch, or they could be individual seats. Also, we have some lily pads in that top corner. They're 3-inch pads that students can move across the classroom and sit on the floor anywhere they like. As well as this Nest rectangular or square thing is kind of a calming station for a student where they can go climb in there, read. It's fully foam. There's no wood in there, anything like that, no pitch points. The other thing you can do is that thing can lay down flat and you can kind of sit in it and have like a little campfire and conversation. And then in the back there, you can kind of see, it's hard to see on the screen, is a hug chair that's in the common room. The idea of that is, once again, it's 100% foam. A student kind of sits in it, and it just kind of gives them a little comfort. It just kind of squeezes into them a little bit, helps relax. just another shot from the other, I guess technically the other classroom, even though it's all the same with the exception of the middle tables. Once again, these will be marker top tables. Couple more shots. You can see the storage. And then elementary, the only real difference in elementary is the tables. We have put a different height table, or I'm sorry, not a different height, a different style table. Make sure we have at least 12 for seating, and then they have 2 kidney tables as well. One of the conversations that we had last week, and we're going to make the edit, is maybe doing some wobble stools around the kidney tables as well in here. We will have enough seating, you know, for all students at the rectangular tables. Another shot, like I said, very, very similar to the middle school with the exception of the tables. Then I'm going to bring Lori up to help me talk about some of the stuff that they've worked on.
Good morning. So one of the exciting things about J.H. Lee that I've never seen in another school that I think is very kind to the teachers, very supportive of the teachers, is all throughout the day they're having to lift these kids to change them. So not only do we have the changing table that lifts up and down, but they've installed a Hoyer lift. You can see it goes, it's actually the elementary school EC. It goes from the back where the toilet is, and it'll come straight across. You see it on the ceiling, come straight across to the shower area and the changing area, so they don't have to lift and move them constantly up and down. There is a curtain that will go across, so when the chair is all the way back or all the way front, you can pull a curtain across, and there's some privacy there. So that is a roll-in shower, should any accidents occur, and some cleaning, you know, wash and dryer for them. Oops. We didn't get the EC kitchen in there? Okay. This is the middle school, they call it the break room. It is an EC kitchen for the middle school. It is to help them learn how to maybe take care of themselves, learn how to cook and clean. So you've got a roll-in sink and then a stovetop. It's a tight room, but you've got the turnaround radius so they can get in there and turn around. It's accessed from both of the classrooms. And hopefully they can learn how to take care of themselves outside of the school. The switch for the hood, you can see, is on the backsplash so that they can reach it, easily accessed. The addition of the fax room was huge. The teacher came in so energetic. I mean, you all are incredibly lucky to have her. She is just full of energy and wanting to grow this program, which apparently is incredibly popular. We added 4 kitchens. You'll see the one where the microwave is down low would be your handicap accessible. And again, there's a switch on the back splash to allow anybody in a wheelchair to reach for it. There is 2 refrigerators on the back and a wall full of cabinets. And what you're not seeing in is a closet that has a washer and dryer, which will allow them to clean any of the dish towels or anything that they may have. But it should be fairly successful and a lot of room. It's an exciting space, and the space opens up to a classroom that she will currently use for other programs that she has, such as sewing. Thank you.
Thank you. And kind of going into the fax room, one of the things that we did here is this was the most popular program at that school. So it sounded like they run 7 or 8 different centers at once. I know that it was a big deal. I think, even blowing out a door. So she had 2 rooms in the kitchen area. Then this is more on the kitchen area. And then the other side having the sewing tables and other tables that they can do all kinds of things. I can't even name all the things she does in there. Very exciting. On the back wall that we don't have shown is some additional storage for her. I know she has a lot of stuff with all her different programs, so we wanted to make sure she had the right storage in there as well. Then diving into the media centers, this is the middle school I know I'm coming up on my 15 minutes, so I'm going to try to buzz through some of these. I still have a lot of slides, but I'll be quick. Please stop me if I'm moving too fast. But wanted to give the students a lot of different choices of areas to sit, whether it's wobble stools, soft seating. We have a classroom area. All the shelves that you're going to see in the middle are mobile, so they can be moved around. Everything in there is going to be up to the media center specialist's discretion, where they can move and adjust depending on the day. Have a circulation desk. Once again, this is one of the colors that are going to come out. We heard no orange and red, so those are going to change as far as the back of and the back of this. So we're working on those changes there with the colors. Obviously important to make sure you can get a full classroom in a media center, because sometimes classes are in there in full. So we made sure that there's at least 30 seats for, you know, an entire 4th or 5th grade class that may come in. Just a shot from the other way. Once again, choice of seating, got some change of height where they can sit up a little higher. Then in the back, you've got a few individual spaces, some high seating if they want to sit there, and a couple media walls at 2 different heights, so students can, you know, be down low or kind of perched up. Then going into the elementary, a lot of the same ideas, making sure we have different centers. I think in the front, obviously making sure that we have a reading area for the media center specialist, soft seating. Once again, all these things are going to be light and very flexible and movable for students or the specialist. Once again, we didn't do as much change of height in here in elementary, but we did put a couple pieces in there. Still have room for an entire classroom. Some tables in the back. We heard, sometimes there's puzzles going on there. It has a little lip around there, keep puzzles from going all over the place. Just another shot of that. And with elementary, with some of the change of height, we went a little lower, and we heard that was a fun piece. It's got some storage in the middle, some soft seating around the bottom, so students can sit down low and collaborate and work. I like the shot on the left. Obviously, I know you guys have all seen that, but I just think that's so cool how you have the reading nooks in the wall. They had nothing to do with me, but I think it's cool, so we still wanted to show it. Then I think there's 11 of these different areas. They're the extended learning in the hallway. We've done 2 different options in here. In elementary, we've done kind of a puzzle table, some soft seating, a few hockey stools, and they'll be height appropriate based on where they are. This is on the elementary side. On the middle and part of the elementary side went more with the collaborative student desk, but then still have tablet arm chairs where students can individually work as well. Cafeteria, I will say, I do want to touch on this real quick. Our cafeteria tables will be ADA accessible. They don't have the spots cut out for them in our rendering, but basically stools get removed so that a wheelchair or anybody can sit in there. They just don't render that way, but want to know that was an important thing going forward. In the middle school, once again, choice of seating, wanted to throw some booths in there, a few high tops tables, so that there was a little bit of choice. Just another rendering of that. All these are going to be on casters, so easily moved for custodians or anybody that needs to clean around. Elementary, same thing. We just did a few that have just chairs as well, so it's not everything attached. And then kind of the fun part, we had our manufacturer come up with some logo tables in here that we're going to smatter in there in different areas. I think what we decided on, or what the team decided on last week, was that bottom right one is the one that we're going to use in elementary. And the bottom right one is the one we're going to use in the middle school as well. Quick look at the admin. I'm just going to show the waiting and reception area, reception desk for when people come in. You have a computer check-in, check-out station near the door. It's inviting you to come in. Also, have good line of sight everywhere, and a waiting area as well for, adults or students. Then the typical office, they have a wardrobe cabinet, so they can put their coats. They have good storage with a bookcase and lateral file, and then have a sit-to-stand on all of their desk in administration. And some of the resource rooms, These are used for ESL, I think pretty much principal's discretion on, little pull-out groups that they might use. So we worked with everybody on what these might want to look like. A kidney table, and in elementary have a couple tables in there as well. Middle school wanted to go more with the desk that can be moved around along with the kidney table as well. And then art and STEM storage was a big piece in both of these rooms. There's a ton of built-in storage, but they wanted storage in the tables too. It's hard to tell in the rendering, but you can tell 4 at 36-inch high and one of them is at 30-inch high. With that hangover, they're ADA accessible to make sure on the 30-inch high that it's inclusive for everybody. It's in the art room. A lot of storage was critical, so that you'll see a couple transporter cabinets in the back, as well as some totes as you're walking into the door. And then the STEM room, same thing. That middle table on the left is the one that's 30 inches high, so it's ADA accessible. In the back, you see 3D printer carts. And then here's elementary. Just a couple of different fun colors. Also, once again, choice of seating for a student could sit on the ground and work. Sorry, I know I'm flying through it. I know I just had a bunch of slides, so stop me if I'm going too fast. A couple of the maker spaces real quick. Have a broadcasting area, the green screen. Mosley's putting green paint behind there so that they can be used. Elementary STEM lab right off the media center. Just once again, a bunch of different options as to, different heights, different things happening in here. Some soft seating on the other side. And then the middle school TV production area. If I'm not mistaken, I think the green wall is going to come around the left side now too as well, but a great place for shooting the TV. And that's all we have, and I think like Dr. Grimm said, the total is $4,338,192.14, with the majority of that being on state contract. We did do about $247,000 on the TIPS cooperative, just on some of the random things we could not get on the state cooperative. Any questions?
Amazing, actually.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Again, thank you. I want to thank the staff this year. They were in so many meetings, and I appreciate them taking time out of their busy day. So now I'm just coming to you and ask for the board to consider approving this request for furniture.
Well, it sounds like we're coming in under budget,
Yes, ma'am.
so that's always a good thing. Are you sure you've got enough seats in these classrooms?
We did the best we could. I sure hope so. Like I said, we planned for 30 in
Yeah.
grades 4 through 8, because we do have classes that are running 27 to 30, and so we definitely wanted to have at least 30 seats in those classrooms.
Yes, sir. That was my only, honestly, that was my only concern. Everything looks beautiful. Like I said, my only concern was, since we're coming in under budget, do we need to make room for expansion right now and buy more furniture, which I know that storage might be an issue with that. But it's something for the board to consider, because right now we have an opportunity right now to make sure that we can expand.
Yeah, I think we are going to be good to go for right now. And so I'd like to get this order done, and I will keep it back in my mind that we've got an additional $38,000 if we need to come back and buy some additional furniture.
Yes, sir. This only comes from a place where this board has been asked in the past to approve a lot of classroom size waivers. And every time, yeah, it hurts every time you have to approve one, but it's necessary. And thinking back on those, like I said, I just wanted to make sure that we are, that we're covered for any future expansion, but I guess we could always go back. Okay, well, I make a motion to approve.
Can I ask another question before we move on?
Yeah, sure.
I just want to make sure that we all understand, the public understands. We're planning for 30 children per classroom, seats, and this does cover the entire school, correct?
So we did 4 through 8 is where we did the 30 chairs, not in the primary grades. We don't want that many students in the primary grades in those classrooms.
How many did we plan for in elementary then?
Matt, was it 22? 22 in the primary grades.
And what about our AC classrooms? How does that compare?
Yeah, we have
What did we plan for
about
there?
12 in there. Summer, are we good with that? Yep, 12 to 14, yes. So Summer Mills is back there. She's our assistant EC director, and she came to the meeting, and so we good with that? Yep, okay.
Is that 12 or 14? I would have thought that would have been more, but. How
We're good
many-
with that number?
Per classroom, yes, ma'am. Okay. All right.
Good questions.
And this, but I guess my last question is that we are outfitting every one of those 131 classrooms, is that correct, that I heard you say?
Yes, ma'am. And again, as I shared in my opening remarks, there's also some little smaller spaces where we're going to probably squeeze in some OT and speech pathologists and other educators as well. So you didn't see those today.
Okay.
So we've accounted for all of them.
Okay.
I hope we didn't miss anything, but if we do, we'll go back and buy a couple pieces if we need to.
Right. Did you have more questions?
I didn't.
I'll second Ms. Burns' motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And that's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Okay, I guess it's time to switch gears now and talk about the remodel of the Topsail Middle School. And we've got contractors here today that are going to be doing a presentation. I'm going to ask my construction director, Bill Nelson, to come up and talk with you about the process we've used and how we got to today. So, Mr. Nelson.
Good morning, board members, Chairman All, Dr. Breedlove. So prior to issuing the RFQ for the Topsail Middle School renovation, on March 17th, we issued that. For Topsail, the district undertook a deliberate and collaborative planning process to ensure the future design would align with instructional and operational needs of the campus. The first series of meetings we held was January 8th, and it included Dr. Sasser, Dr. McNaughton, the directors for CTE and Exceptional Children, as well as other programs. These discussions focused primarily on curriculum needs, instructional delivery, specialized programming, and identifying the educational spaces that would best support both current and future student needs at that campus. A second round of meetings was then conducted on March 24th that included all the members of the first meeting, as well as Dr. Breedlove, Dr. Taylor, Dr. Sawyer, Dr. Grimm, and Ms. Nowlin. During these sessions, the conversations became more refined and focused specifically on the function and use of spaces, operational flow, and the renovation could best support teaching and learning and student services for the campus. Following that first collaborative planning effort, the RFQ was formally issued to solicit qualification from design-build firms. The district received responses from 9 qualified design-build teams. Through the RFQ process and subsequent addenda, the district communicated that the intent of the project is to focus on interior renovations, selective infrastructure upgrades, and site and circulation improvements, while maximizing the use of existing building and campus assets. To ensure a fair and transparent and objective selection process, a review committee was established to evaluate all submissions. The committee utilized the criteria identified within the RFQ and applied a structured scoring matrix to assess each proposal consistently. Based on the evaluation results, the committee selected the top 3 firms to advance and present to the board today. Upon shortlisting the 3 qualified firms, We then had conducted a mandatory site visit of the Topsail Middle School campus on May 6th. This walkthrough allowed each team to observe the existing conditions of the campus firsthand, gain a deeper understanding of the facility constraints and opportunities, and better align their concepts with the educational vision established during the planning process. The site visit was intended to provide each firm with the necessary context to develop and present their unique vision for the renovation project to the board today. The RFQ evaluation criteria was comprised of 5 different subjects. First is the design-build experience and expertise. Second is qualifications of the project team. Third was understanding of the project and methodology. Fourth, past performance and preferences. And 5, the ability to deliver cost-effective solutions and schedule. Does anybody have any questions about any of that? All right, so I think we're ready to bring the contractors in if everybody's ready. So the first one will be TA Loving, then it'll be Monteith, and Bordeaux will be last. Does anybody need a copy of the RFQ? Okay. Yes, okay.
How long does each team have?
That's what I was getting ready to ask.
20 minutes is what I was thinking.
Mr. Chair, I'll keep time unless somebody else wants to do it.
Sure.
Mr. Nelson, I'll give it to you,
Okay.
Thank you.
We're trying to dial in Jason today. Forgot about that till just now.
We'll see if he. Yeah, let him get in here. We'll tell him. Give us a second. Well, let's do a recess real quick and see if Jason might want to hear this.
Did anybody think about that or just?
You never say anything to me on my text message this morning.
Yeah.
You didn't say anything?
We're gonna do a 5-minute recess, see if we can get Mr. Spivey on the phone.
Bill.
right, we will call the meeting back to order and proceed with the presentations.
Hey, good morning.
Thanks.
Did I miss anybody? Everybody get a chance?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you all for being here. Yeah.
Gentlemen, just so you know, I got 20 minutes on the clock. I'm gonna start it whenever you get up to that microphone. Stop it, and then the board have questions.
Yes, sir. Well, good morning. Thank you so much for having us today. My name is James Wood, and I am the project executive for the TA Loving and LS3P team. Again, we're really excited to be here, so thanks so much for giving us this opportunity. For more than 90 years, TA Loving has been building schools across North Carolina. And when we first learned about this opportunity, we were immediately excited because this is one of those types of jobs that really highlights what our strengths are, right? Which is creative problem solving, complex campus renovations, and the opportunity to make decisions that really heavily involve and influence the end users. But beyond experience alone, we believe that what differentiates us is our team, and one of which is Russ Gerganis, which you'll hear from here in a little bit. Russ is a very familiar face, not just here in Pender County, but he is also, he's worked for several other school districts in his history. So what's important about that, though, is that he understands how schools operate. He understands this campus. He knows this area, and he understands the people who will use these facilities each and every day. And why that matters is that he will have a different lens, which is an operational mindset, and that'll help him and help us as we make decisions. He knows the people. He can pick up the phone and call anybody at any time, and we think that that is an invaluable part of what this project needs. We also knew that we would need a design partner that not only has deep K-12 experience, but that is highly collaborative, that has experience in campus transformations, renovations, adaptive reuse, and CTE programming. And obviously, there was no better choice than LS3P. Design build only works whenever there is true collaboration and when there is a team that is fully aligned. And because of that, we have no learning curve. We have built projects for decades together, and so there's no startup, right? We're able to come in and make immediate impact and align from day one on the mission, which is that we are going to streamline and help make very efficient decisions for this project. And so my commitment here for you today is simple, that this project will be our #1 priority and that you will have the full strength, resources, and expertise of both TA Loving Company and LS3P.
Thank you, James. I'm Charles Boney. The room is the same. A few of the faces are the same, but we've been here for a long time. Thank you for letting us be your partners and your friends on many opportunities there. I represent LS3P Associates Architects. I'll be principal in charge. We're here today to present what I believe to be the best team for Topsail High School expansion. But let me tell you a story first. We mentioned a little bit about our collaboration together. My collaboration with TA Loving began in 1978 when Boney Architects was selected to design Davis Library for UNC Chapel Hill. Teamed with TA Loving, we were charged with building the single largest contract that had ever been constructed in the state. At 450,000 square feet, it was a mammoth undertaking, and we managed to make that all work. Many years later, fast forward to today, we continue to work together in a unique partnership forged by respect, forged by trust, and we're here today to bring that same partnership to Pender County Schools. Our team includes Russ Gerganis, whom you've met before, Matt Bramstead, who also will be our design lead on the project with LS3P. You've met him before. Scott Wynn will be project manager or director for TA Loving, and then, of course, I will be the principal in charge. Our team also includes, behind me, everybody who's here for LS3P, stand up. the moment, with the TA Loving group. I guess it's everybody in the audience. We brought a big team. So that includes Will Altman with Timmons Civil Engineering, Ken Lynch with Cheatham. You've worked with Cheatham many times before. Rusty Woolard will be our senior project superintendent. Brandy Bullock will be a design build manager. Eddie Anderson with LS3P will be our K-12 education specialist. And we look forward to this working with you in this project. You know, we'd like to talk about having design conversations, and I'll begin that by saying first that, you know, this quote here, the Talco and the LS3P team delivered on those expectations and more. That was from Greg Shoemaker, Director of Engineering and Architectural Services at East Carolina University. It was another large project, which turned out very, very well, I think. We were able to bring that same team here to you and look forward to working with you. Again, design conversations. I'll turn it over to Matt Bramstead to talk about your campus.
All right. Well, again, my name is Matt Bramstead, and I've had the pleasure, I'm sure you have too, to work with Mr. Paquette at Pender High School. We're the on-call services architect, doing a great project there with the restroom renovation work. And so we love to get to know the campus, what it is about Topsail High School. And so where we like to begin is understanding your project needs. And it truly is a discovery process. Our team walked the campus and toured, and some of the areas that we've highlighted in yellow indicate some existing constraints. I also want to mention that I just received a certification with CEPTED. That stands for Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design. And so that lens means that from a design standpoint, we want to address the campus holistically so that it's a safe and secure environment. And looking at some of the spaces on the interior, the cafeteria space has some size constraints. The existing admin classrooms have lower ceilings. And this building here has some building envelope issues that will need to be addressed. The classroom building to the top is the most recent building from 2009. What we notice as a whole is just the different buildings are not connected. So this does prevent those security issues. Classrooms do not have access to windows, and we do have building envelope issues to address.
So, good morning, board, everyone. I'm Russell Gaines, will be the project manager. Glad to be back in Pender, I can tell you that much. So, if we had just filmed the site walk with all the teams standing here today, we should have just played the video. Matt, the plan that Matt just had, he had a big poster board walking around that day at a site walk, and he was making all these notes that we put up here. And, you know, it started on the way down. We ran into all this traffic. So, like the growing Hampstead corridor that you have, we know we got a lot of traffic issues. This is a heavily populated campus. It's an active campus and will be during construction, and there's 3 schools here. So, next slide. We started thinking about what is your vision, understanding the context, and right after our site walk, we all met up in LS3P's office, locked ourselves in there for about 2 hours, and started taking these ideas that is very familiar from what I've seen here, Dr. Breelove and other educators do, and started taking these sticky notes. And every time we had ideas and things that we saw, we started putting it up there of, you know, these things highlighting the building, the existing conditions, some constraints that we're seeing. It's hard to take my facilities director lens off, so I was looking at that as figuring out what, if I was in your shoes, what questions would I have, what problems are we trying to solve? So this kind of started, and we kind of created a matrix. And this matrix, so as we align ourselves with the RFQ, as you send it out, we do have some options. I think that site walk invited us to your campus to kind of look at things holistically, and we started just, you know, ironing them out of, like, you know, the risk of, you know, long-term value, the costs, you know, some stormwater impervious flexibility. And we knew, like, from education style, we had to condense this, right? So we came up with 5 factors of success for your project, and it's to address the PCS square program needs. We know there was a bond several years ago with that remaining money that you're trying to work with, so we want to maximize your budget. The best superintendent sitting in the crowd back here, Rusty Woolard. We talked phasing, schedule, how we were going to make this happen on a complex campus. We got future growth impact. What does the community look like in 10 years from now with the work that's going to be done on this campus? Student and staff success, and I'm familiar with the One Pender hashtag. So we want to make this a one campus experience. So we got 3 design approaches that you'll see. We didn't want to just present just one option. We were going to focus ourselves around the RFQ and the renovating of the middle school. We're going to hear 3, and I'm going to turn it over. We're going to discuss those factors of success of what these 3 options look like to Pender County Schools.
So renovation brings about opportunities to both refresh your existing spaces, but also re-envision. I'd like to just begin and point out the existing buildings would undergo a major renovation. The existing modulars would be removed and a new opportunity could be established. We would want to look at the site design and think about how can we maximize all these opportunities. Again, budget's going to be very critical, but perhaps we can tie in a new drop-off loop to handle some of the congestion. And then really think about, from a student safety standpoint, how do we connect from the upper and lower campus? Our design approach really has to be founded upon the program document. I understand that there's a longer list of program needs, but that's our number 1 priority, is to address those space needs as we look at how to update the existing buildings. From there, we'll also be addressing interior environments, building envelope issues, code issues, perhaps providing some safety upgrades, infrastructure, and that connection between the 2 campuses. Our team has experience working with CTE spaces, connecting them to the outdoors, providing flexible furniture, dedicated environments for technology, and then partnering with local colleges. So this is a welding lab, and that could be that opportunity to connect with Cape Fear Community College.
So as pre-construction director, I tend to look at each one of these options through the lens of cost. But we're going to show you that each one of these options actually have some really significant pros and cons. I think the ones I want to point out on the renovation version is that this is probably the lowest upfront cost that you're going to see. But we also, when we do our cost models, we're also going to look at life cycle of the building, not only what we're putting in place, but what's going to remain, and what deferred maintenance you might have to do down the line that's going to offset that nice cost that you see up front. I think another thing I want to point out on the renovation, this is going to be probably the least disruptive to the campus. So safety and logistics will be a little bit easier, and that'll help save a little bit of money. And now I think Matt's going to talk about the replace option.
So what if, this is again big idea exploration, and we like to say there's no bad idea at this point in the process. So what if we created opportunities, and that begins with understanding that we could reuse this existing space for something else? So what if we consolidated all the program and added a new building that was connected to the existing? With that, we can provide a secondary entrance, alleviate student parking, expand athletic parking, relocate bus access, really create that separation between the different parking and vehicular movements. And again, this is founded upon addressing the space program needs, applying more of a long-term budget solution, understanding how this impacts construction. And so we're back to the pros and cons.
So this option has some wonderful pros and cons too. Obviously, this is going to probably be the most upfront cost that you're going to see. And it's disruptive to the site because we're going to be digging footings and putting new structures in. But, you know, again, we're going to do a cost analysis and a good cost study to show you that maybe this is the most economical solution in the long run, because when we finish the project, now you've got a building that's going to give you 60 to 70 years of service without any possibly major impacts to replacement cost, maintenance, things like that. So this is a really good option. Now we move on to hybrid.
So combining the best of renovation and the best of building new, this is really about strategic visioning. So it's selective removal and a refresh. The newer building and the existing gymnasium could form together spaces for both athletics and the ROTC program, emphasize and strengthen this area of the site, and then a strategic addition could set itself up for providing those new classroom environments. Again, addressing some of the site circulation needs and wayfinding with parking expanded, moving buses, and providing long-term solutions.
This is probably the most interesting one for me to talk about because we worked with LS3P on Stowell Elementary. I think you'll see a picture of it on the handout that we had. That was a replace or hybrid option that we worked with them on, and it would turn out to be a very successful project to our firms and the owner. This kind of brings the best of both worlds, some new construction, some renovation. This probably offers the best flexibility in design where we can actually design it to your budget, which that's what the design build process actually really excels at. Some cons, it will be disruptive to the site. You're gonna displace students on the renovation portion, and you're gonna disrupt site areas where we have to build new facilities. So this takes a little bit more logistical and safety planning on our part, but it's still a very interesting option.
So at the end of the day, we want to be your partner in this, and with knowing Pender County and the principals that are each of these schools, and I'll assist in making this a very easy process, whatever the school district chooses to move forward with. But all these options solve your capacity needs at no compromise of safety to the students. Superintendent and I and design build project manager and these engineers back here, we work day to day on very complex projects. And again, we want to be your partner, whatever you choose, but help guide that next steps and make sure that we're making strategic decisions up front, because with the schedule as it's presented, when construction could start, we know when the new KA is going to end and when students move, and we want to make sure we hit the ground running and help make whatever decision you choose a reality. So,
I got a question. Can you go back to the addition one? The one that had an addition. The second one. Yeah, I'm confused. Where's that? I don't think we can add anything onto the school because we don't have enough, what is it called?
Impervious surface,
We don't have
yes.
enough surface, so that's not even gonna work.
so with this replace option, you will create the build upon area by doing the selective demolition of the middle school. So you're taking away impervious surface space with roof, and then you're adding new addition in other places. And these are those early on decisions in a very strategic approach early on. That's why we want to give you options, that these things are capable if you take the right steps.
So you can take away and then add.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but, sorry, did you have anything? My question is, would we be losing seats if we did that major addition, and then we did away with what is now Topsail Middle? In which situation would we have more seats for students? Keeping the old Topsail Middle and converting it, or adding that addition? Basically what I'm asking is, could that addition make up for the seats that we would be losing? Because square footage wise, it doesn't look like it could, but.
Well, I think square footage wise, it'd be about the same. So it solves the capacity issue on both, understanding and figuring out the programming that serves the high school, and if the capacity on a day-to-day basis that's there, I think it would offset it just about the same.
And we were looking at a two-story addition, so the footprint is smaller than if it was all one story. So that helps condense things and utilize that site area.
Okay, so that's a two-story addition.
That's right.
So with this, what I'm looking for.
Approach.
Option.
Option, there you go. What is currently, all of the buildings that make up Topsail Middle School would be demoed, is that what I'm understanding?
In this replace option, if you wanted the hybrid option to give, Coast Guard, ROTC, the drill space, you could keep the gymnasium and the newer 8th grade wing. That's showed in the hybrid option at the top right.
That was option number 3, right? Okay.
Yes.
And if you don't mind, what I also want to say, I think Charles is going to say it as well at some point in time, this is what we have done in a vacuum, right? And so why we're here today is because we want to involve you and get almost y'all up to speed with, hey, here's what we've been thinking, but there's probably an option 4 that requires collaboration and us to all sit in a room and prioritize and come up with what really truly makes the most sense for the full team and to meet the program needs.
Okay.
So I gotta stop reading the question. So if we did the addition part, that would make that school 3,000 students. which is, it's already out of control as it is. I mean, 2,000, then we make it 3,000.
That's why I think that, you know, obviously the collaborative part there, is that what you want? You know, ultimately, you know, this is a stopgap on what everybody probably knows needs to happen as we look down the road 10, 15 years from now on the size. I've always said 1,200 to 1,600 students is an ideal high school size. It's not so large that, you know, you are losing opportunities for students, and it's also not so small that you're losing opportunities for students either. Whether it's academic AP, you have to be large enough to offer, you know, as many of those advanced classes, and that comes with size. But when you get too large, you still only have one baseball team, you still only have one soccer team, you still have all of these other aspects, you know, one lead for the play and that sort of thing. So I think it's just a nice size. 3,000 is a lot. Now you're talking about a Myers Park in Charlotte and some other these mega schools that, you know, have a lot of challenges.
That was really smart of y'all to come up with that. I like that.
Well, we're trying to put ideas out in front of you.
Now I'm sitting there thinking, good Lord, now what do we do?
Yeah.
That was really smart.
Well,
We need space.
you may recall we presented you another solution 2 years ago that was adding about 10 classrooms. Mr. Hall, we talked about that at that time with the idea of just expanding this school and figuring out how to handle the growth that we're all seeing. We know it's coming. There's an article this morning in the newspaper about redoing all the circulation in Hampstead in preparation for the bypass. Well, it's coming. It's here, and it is upon us, and it'll be interesting to see how we work up. Well, let me wrap up. So why is our team? Well, I mentioned the long-standing relationship that we have with T.A. Loving. You ready for me to wrap up?
No, I'm getting the team up here.
Okay. Yeah, everybody come up. Essentially, our collaboration has lasted my lifetime as an architect and longer. We've had similar relationships here with Pender County with you. Where Boney Architects' history includes the design of many schools, including the original Topsail High School. We included more recently the Surf City K-8 school. My grandfather designed the old Topsail High School, and I was privileged to be able to renovate that a few years ago to form the new Hampstead annex for the county. I organized the design and construction program and the cost behind the successful $75 million bond that included our Surf City K-8 school. I wish we could build for those same dollars today. We can't. We continue to serve you in smaller renovation projects, delivering them on time and on budget. And I forgot to mention the Topsail Addition plan that we talked about earlier in 2024. We'll bring to you the choices in design, in maintenance, in manufacturers, and in programs, and we've done this before. Both LS3P and TA Loving have deep roots in school construction with teams dedicated to K-12 design. We're experts at working on occupied campuses, additional things that set us apart, including our knowledge, certainly, of Topsail High School campus, and we respect the issues that we have, certainly, with pervious and impervious surfaces. We know it's building systems, as its original engineers, the unique challenges of the site, and then, of course, Russ Gerganis. Russ is our secret weapon here, but Russ brings a great, immense value to our team in his knowledge of Pender County, its people, its leadership. Russ can call principals, set up meetings, and coordinate the team's work. And certainly Eddie Anderson, as our education specialist, will help us navigate the program issues and figure out how to make an increasingly large high school or increasingly large campus work for us here. So with Pender County Schools, we've got one chance really to get this right. We didn't present the right solution to you yet. We got 3 options there. Somewhere there's a 4th thing that's out there. It's kind of like Goldilocks, trying to find the right thing. But what we've done is present 3 polarizing ideas in the deliberate effort to find that perfect solution somewhere that's in the middle. So working with you, we'll develop that fourth scheme. That fits your time, your program needs, and your budget. And I'd like to end this with a quote. Let's see, the team at LS3P ensures that we are presented with consistent communication, expert counsel for decision-making, and recommendations that we feel very confident in. So that's from Nick Packett. Thank you. We look forward to bringing the right solution to you on this bold campus redesign.
So again, I'll say that I'm very thankful to be here and be back in Pender. And I've got the whole team here, and you've got some questions, and I'm very excited to answer them. There's options, and we want you to know that, like, the exercise, you saw the pictures of us in a room, we're ready to do it with you tomorrow, and figure out, really dial in what does your programming needs really, what can we expand and maximize the opportunity for one Pender, one campus over there, what it means to be a pirate, and what questions do you got? I've got Cheatham, engineering, I got superintendent, heavy logistics, we can talk schedule, I got design, and I've got a pre-construction bench that goes pretty deep, that even got some members that helped deliver the previous GMP for you guys, and they work with us. So now. Ms. Burns?
Just well, you knew I was going to make a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, you know that you got brownie points as soon as you walked in, Russ. I mean, you left here in good standing.
Thank you.
And we appreciated the work that you did while you were here. And having Mr. Boney back there, yeah, that's always a bonus too. Like I said before, my only concern was, would it be, well, I'll leave that behind. What I am going to say is I was very impressed with the options that you brought in today. You kind of brought to life some things that we've just been talking about in passing, like what if we did this or what if we did that? And we did kind of shy away a little bit, or at least I did, from the demolition, but seeing it up there, it's like, ooh, you're making me think about it now. So
The more you think about what level of renovation we're going to get into, and we've heard deferred maintenance, and we've got Cheatham here, Mr. Ken Lynch, talking about potential infrastructure upgrades to chiller and water plants that are at the high school that could offset future capital costs to you with capturing in this construction project. There is the knowledge standing behind me. I'm just the project manager helping deliver on what you guys expect with the professionals behind me. So.
Gotcha. Now, which one of you is with Cheatham? Okay. Were you part of the HVAC study that we had done? About 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was?
We did that in 2022.
Yes, sir. Wow, 4 years ago. Okay, that was a while. All right. Well, that does it for me. Thank you all so much. Appreciate the presentation.
Can I say one more thing before you go? I too want to thank you for all the options that you presented, and not only about our facility, but thinking and listening apparently to our need for increased parking for our students and staff, as well as the safety of our students and families to increase the pickup and drop-off line.
I appreciate the feedback.
Yes.
Thank you. Reese, Mr. Hall. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for having us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So in a good money after bad on an old school, we're starting over on a new addition.
Sometimes renovations can be more pricey than just go ahead and build a new.
Everything up to code.
Everything would be up to code. We'd have everybody in one.
I mean, once you start renovating, you have to renovate.
And to me, I'm just sitting there thinking, I know that's an awful big school, but it would be cheaper to operate that school. Now we only have one cafeteria. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna need a larger cafeteria because as of right now, we've got, I think there's 5 or 6 lunch periods out there right now. So that cafeteria cannot handle what, I'm sorry, Dr. Graham, I know that we're
Go ahead. But it's handling it now. I mean,
it is handling it now, but when you put another, and I'm gonna guesstimate, that's gonna be about another 1,200 to 1,500 students in that new addition.
10 years from now, I mean,
Then you're going, well, this would be something that we would be opening probably within the next, what, 3 to 4 years?
they already go to the school now. They already go to Topsail now.
They do, but remember our growth study? Our growth study is calling for way more students to come in. And that's another thing that we would have to address is we need a larger lunchroom. But we could always
How many
keep
lunch
the,
periods do they have at Topsail High School at the moment? How many lunch periods do they have at Topsail at the moment?
I believe now, they're at 4 now.
oh, I thought there were 5 or 6.
It might be. But they're like 500.
I know it, the turnover is like this. I mean, it's
So when we were
crazy.
there for lunch that day, it wasn't packed in there. I mean,
Well, a lot of them run across.
That's just, we just have to think the company we think is looking at the work, but we don't have to make a decision on what we're looking at.
Agreed,
But yeah,
agreed.
But that was interesting.
We are getting into
I never
the weeds a
thought
little
about
bit,
that.
but there's lots of things to think about though whenever we're.
Well, let's see if the other two thought about that too.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready for Monteith? Okay.
Would be good to get rid of the old school and have all new over there. I've had problems with the old one, even though you do spend $20 million on it. Good morning. Morning. How are you? Good. I'm gonna have to do these. Thank you for having us. I've got some training copies. Follow along. All right, just so you know, arrows, just these 2 arrows for going back and forth, the laser pointers right there. Sir. Good, how are you? How are you all today? Good. Good, how are you?
20 minutes. I'll, if they start queuing for questions, I'll pause it. Otherwise, there'll be questions at the end.
Yes, sir, Mr. McPherson, got it.
Do we need to be speaking to the mic, or is it gonna pick us up?
It'll pick you up, as long as you're loud enough.
No doubt. Good deal. All right, let's go. I got a couple things written down here. Good morning, y'all. Thank you for having us. Very appreciative of the opportunity to be here to present. On behalf of Monteith, my name is Drew. We'll do some introductions in a couple minutes. Many of us standing up here today are Topsail High School and middle school parents, so this job is personal for us. We are very familiar with the education that Topsail's campus provides our kids, and the opportunities to partner with Cape Fear and many of the CTE programs. However, we're also very familiar with the carpool lanes. Both my wife and I have been intimately involved in the carpool lanes since 6th grade. We're excited about that. Both of my kids drive now, so that's a little bit of a different story, but nonetheless, we do understand the rich environment that happens at Topsail. That's why y'all have a 96% graduation rate. And programs like we're talking about for the annex certainly help many schools across the state drive to 100% graduation. So excited to see that happen. Our goal today is to go over some of these things. You'll hear from the people that are far more polished than myself. We'll talk about safe circulation around the campus and across 17. We will talk about some of the overcrowding challenges that you have there and just making a more efficient space for your campus in general. We believe that we have the team here today that is local, that is also talented in both the design, engineering, and construction fields, that are invested in this community. And like I said, many of us have kids at the school, so we spend time there, and our kids are obviously realizing the benefits of y'all's campus. So we're excited to create the leadership and innovation campus for Topsail and the annex. A couple of things here, opportunities we've had to partner with Topsail, particularly as a company since 2024. NC Connect for Success, we've participated in the shed and vault competitions on 3 straight years now with Michelle and her team. That's been 130 students that have been through there. So Clint and I have gone out there and pretended like we still knew how to lay out rafters and stuff, which frankly I don't. Thank God for Clint. That's why he's the senior superintendent field executive for us. We've also had some opportunities here recently. It looks like that is Clint and Luke out there presenting to some of the kids, which has led to our first apprentice from Topsail High School that will work with Justin and Clint
at the Wilmington Health MOB that's just breaking ground right now, so we're excited about that as well. So introductions really fast. My name is Drew Rentelman. Been with Monteith for 5 years. I'll be here leading the field team and the design team for the project, and just excited to be here. I'll turn it over to John from the design side.
I'm John Murray with Bowman Murray Hemingway Architects. Our firm is in Wilmington. I've been here for 35 years. A large percentage of our projects are adaptive reuse and renovation.
I'm Chad Combs with GFT Engineering. I'm the regional engineer leader for GFT. Recently, I retired from NC DOT after 32 years. And know this site very well. Just no DOT questions today, please. But also, I have a daughter that's going to be attending high school as well this year.
I'm Drew Harden. I'll be the pre-construction lead for the project. I've been with Monteith for about 10 years. Started with Monteith as a superintendent, so from a pre-construction and design management side, I think like a builder and bring that field experience in.
My name is Justin Whitley. I'm the senior project manager. My role is to help Drew Harden here get through pre-con and then roll into Drew Rentelman and Clint in the operations department, and then I'll be kind of your point of contact from start to finish the job. I'll be involved from start to end.
Yes, my name is Clint Howell. I'll be the site superintendent and kind of as a dual role with Justin, working through the early stages of pre-con and investigative work until it gets to the point where we have construction documents. And at that point, I'll take the job all the way through until we turn over the keys.
One other small slide we have down here in the bottom, the yellow is just some critical project support that we'll offer that's not in the room today. We have Maria Cardenas who will handle our trade engagement and outreach so that we can pre-qualify subs for the project. We've got Colin Carville that will handle our scheduling, and then several people on the team today will talk a little bit about our early investigation through virtual construction and scanning of the project and things of that nature. And Mark Blackman will lead our virtual design and construction efforts.
So as we started to think about this project and putting our team together, our first thought was Bowman Murray Hemingway and John. And the reason for that, we've worked together for over 20 years, over 22 projects completed together, most of which in K-12 campuses in higher education, are in adaptive reuse style projects. We see this project not as of course, it's not a new build. It's really not a renovation. It's an adaptive reuse. We're changing the use of this building to be something that will serve you for a long time. We're a block apart and communicate on a daily basis already. As we started to build out the consulting teams, CLH Design is going to be handling our site and landscape design. We've worked with them on countless K-12 projects. We did think it was really important to bring in Chad with GFT from a traffic engineering, traffic study perspective, not only to understand what's going on now, but also with a deep understanding of what's to come as far as 17 goes. SKA Engineering is going to be the envelope consultant for the project. We would say that in this investigation stage, having them in to do this exterior envelope investigation is going to solve a lot of our challenges in the school. And then Cheatham and Associates with Ken obviously has a deep understanding of your HVAC and systems and is part of the team as well. So just kind of to start off, I want to talk about our overall approach to this. The first part is just really defining what this project is, what it's going to entail from a program standpoint, but also understanding your building better than anyone has looked at before. Refining that, then going into the design, working through the budget, make sure that design is to that budget, and then of course delivering the project. As far as schedule goes in this design stage, of course we want to break ground at the end of next school year. And in doing that, we need to be really focused on some of the key drivers, which as we're looking at the site especially, stormwater considerations, if we need to go back to the state for a stormwater permit, that's going to drive schedule, and then early procurement. When we start on June of 27, we want to be ready to go with everything that we need long lead time wise, so working with the design team to identify those as early as possible.
Adaptive reuse is one of the most rewarding and challenging project types we work on. It's rewarding in the sense that we get to breathe new life into old spaces and create exciting and dynamic spaces that can support many different types of learning. It's challenging in the respect that we're working in existing buildings. Most of the time they're older buildings, and we usually have had some surprises along the way. We tackle this project by looking at three specific areas: the site, the building, and then educational suitability, which is also programming. In the site, there's a long list of items here. We've identified three that are major areas that we're going to talk about in depth a little bit later in the presentation, but the parking, the circulation, and stormwater are three major areas that are of concern for the site. The building condition, we begin by an analysis of the code, ADA, building envelope, plumbing, mechanical, electrical systems. We always want to start with a building that's got a solid roof, good building envelope, a mechanical system that can heat and cool and provide humidity control. That's the basis of any good adaptive reuse. And on the programming side, we take a look at, we've got some idea of what you're going to do because we've read the RFQ, but there are going to be additional spaces that are put in this building. We're going to compare those to DPI standards. We're going to work with you to figure out whether those standards are appropriate or not, and then we're going to move forward developing a program that we can use for the new buildings. This is an example of a test fit at Noble Middle School. The areas in red are intensive reuse. This is in ADA compliance bathrooms and in a supporting area for the gym. You've got yellow areas in the administrative areas. And here we're beginning to take a look at test fits. In some cases, like your administration wing, you've got classrooms that don't quite fit the DPI standard of 850 square feet. So we'll be looking at this and evaluating different areas of the school to figure out which most appropriately fit the program space. Here we're starting to develop costs associated with each item. So every item, every improvement to the site, every improvement to the school, we're going to assign a dollar amount to. If we're fortunate, we're going to have enough funds to do everything that you want to do. If we're not, we're going to help you prioritize this by assigning this cost. So you can think of this kind of as a shopping list. We're going to give you the information you need to make the best choice for what's going to happen in this building. I want to show you a couple of examples. This is a media center that circa 1978. This is a trend in media centers where we're converting those by losing stacks and creating areas for group learning and individual learning. That little piece of furniture on the left is an individual study pod that's got white noise so you can study independently. And then this is a cafeteria that's fairly similar to the one I walked through during my site visit. They had a problem, and I think they were running lunches from 10:30 to 2:30. So we had to expand it, but we also had to find a way to address their queues. So we ended up doing individual kiosks that could break away from the main line, serve pizza in one, salad in the other, and cut their times in half. And this is a shot from the back of the addition that overlooked a wooded area in the back of the site.
So as we kind of work through this initial programming stage, from a budgeting perspective, and I'm a numbers guy, so this is where I come in. What I like to think about for a project like this is there's three major buckets. The first bucket being fixing any of the existing challenges in the building. For example, we can't turn over an incredible space that still has ventilation issues or still has issues with the HVAC system or water intrusion. These are things that have to happen for a successful project. And then, of course, creating that budget, getting the academic CTE, the ROTC program into that building, working through the right fit and placement of that is a critical piece. And then finally, of course, improving the site circulation. On this site circulation piece, I'll just say that there are some things that we've looked at inside of the site, but of course with Chad's knowledge of what's going on outside of the site and the future DOT projects, there's a lot of opportunities for us to defer some of that to the DOT projects that are upcoming and help improve the situation on the campus itself. So as we look at this fix the building piece, Clint just about a year ago wrapped up the New Hanover High School project, which is a very extensive exterior envelope repair and structural repair that we can speak to.
Yeah, that was with BMH as well. And what are the tools, one of the cool things that we utilize on this project is obviously laser scanning. So we'll come in and be able to scan the exterior of the building along with the interior of the building and create a model. Not only will they have a model, they'll be able to produce the CAD files that will speed up the process of the design and be able to give accurate information in today's situation or structure versus going back and looking at as-built drawings compared to what they're looking at today. On that, another thing we want to engage in is obviously doing water testing, envelope testing of the building, along with thermal imaging on the roof. To Drew's point and John's, we want to identify the things that make the building solid and hurricane-proof, and will last for many, many more years.
So as we start to look at this from a budget perspective, the knee-jerk reaction is to say, okay, the windows are aging, they all should be replaced. What this team, I think, is exceptional at is saying that, okay, the windows, some of them are leaking, let's find out which ones and find out why. Do we just need to re-caulk these? Do we need to put new glass in these? Are there pieces of this that can be salvaged? And that's an example from New Hanover High School. We knew that there was a structural foundation issue and there's some settlement. But the team didn't just say, okay, let's reinforce all the foundations. We did that deep dive to find that it was one corner that was really seeing that, and so we focused our attention there and saved a good bit of money by doing that. So refining what those repairs look like to achieve the outcome that we want to achieve is really an important part from a cost control perspective on that. And then as we were looking at the program, John mentioned earlier DPI standards and what it takes for a high school in a middle school space. So for a high school, for example, a typical educational classroom, academic classroom is about 850 square feet. In your admin space, those are about 750, so a little bit small for high school. That is an area I've highlighted in red as potentially an area for some more extensive renovation. But in your 8th grade wing, all those classes are 850 square feet. You've got some science classrooms that are 1,200 square feet. Those meet high school standards. That could be an area that we just do a light architectural upfit to bring it up to the same finish as the rest of the school. And then, of course, in the lower building there, that the CTE area, of course, is going to take a good bit of that program budget. That's a great area. It's got a high roof. It has a lot of potential, but will require some significant renovation work.
On the traffic, so this is a good recent aerial that the team took last week. Just take a look at that for a little bit. You can see how it operates today, but it's hard to believe. 33 years ago, when I got out of college, US 17 was a 2-lane road. So one of my first projects was widening the 2-lane road to a 5-lane facility. So just real quick, want to kind of get your bearings right. So the US 17, there's a future NCDOT project, they call it UFIT 732. It's going to be a median in it. We'll talk about that on the next screen. So what we want to do with this project is make sure that this entrance is ready and prepared for those changes that's coming on US 17 that includes pedestrian improvements. We want to, of course, safety of our students is a priority. As you move into the campus a little bit more, if we can go back real quick. The existing roundabout, I've looked at this and analyzed it a little bit. You can go back and watch it in the video, but there's a lot of car traffic that's conflicting with the bus traffic. There's some geometrics that can be changed in here at a low cost here that will help the whole function as well. Moving on here, this is the existing parking here and the existing queue length front loading. We have looked at the numbers. The last study, I was actually still at DOT, was in 2022 when NCDOT looked at the study on how much queue length and storage that you need. We reran the numbers with the new numbers of the population out there today and also with growth. You need an additional 1,100 feet of storage, which we can do with dual lanes that wrap around until you unload. I'll go back to a single lane. And also with this additional parking, we can pick up another 900 linear foot of storage. And lastly, another one that's kind of close to me here. DOT with the Hampstead bypass, they're going to have a couple of large chunks of remnants left once this project is complete. Legislation in the last few years passed a general statute that remnants can be donated to the county for public use. This would be one thing I would want to pursue if we have this project here. This could set you up down the road for additional parking, additional queuing, and so forth.
It's important to note too, with those DOT properties, we looked at the stormwater permits that are currently on the site. There's 3 stormwater permits on this campus right now. All of those are either at capacity or very close to capacity for the amount of impervious that you can do. So to add this parking in the middle school area or the future high school annex may require some additional stormwater, either turn it to a high density stormwater permit or require some additional land for offsetting some of that impervious. So this no-cost transfer could be a really good solution to solving some of those impervious challenges.
All right, next we're going to talk about subcontractors, trade partners, what we call them. Monteith is a locally headquartered office, so we have a deep database of local trade partners, and we pride ourselves in that. And so we like to go to our local market first and foremost. So one of our first jobs and tasks is gonna be to keep as much money locally as we can. And we also wanna get as many local trade partners to the table at bid day, so we're not just opening 1 or 2 packages. We've got 3, 4, 5 numbers in each bid package, which drives competition, which gives you more bang for your buck, right? So in one of those avenues that we do that is we do trade partner outreaches, but we'll do this several times. For minority businesses, we'll do it for local trades, we'll have people in Raleigh zoom in, but we really go the extra mile, first and foremost, to keep our money local. Next is our schedule. Our scheduling philosophy is simple in this project. Your schedule is our cornerstone. So your school calendar will be the cornerstone that we work off of. We will schedule everything around you. We will withhold any type of disruptions in service, any type of heavy activities. We will plan that stuff off hours, off peak hours, and on holiday weekends, whatever we need to do to be good stewards to your campus.
So another critical piece of this project is obviously safety. There's on-site safety, but then on the active campus, it's also about what staff and students are around better. As it relates to safety, I want to jump in the side because I know we're running short on time, as logistics. This is our first pass of what we're proposing as far as the logistics plan. Obviously, we'll vet this through with the school system and the staff there to make sure that not only are we accommodating what our needs are for our construction, but also the school's needs. And I highlighted the 2 red gyms. Just being a resident there and obviously having kids there, I know there's after-school programming and weekend things that take place, and we're willing to accommodate and work with those, but those scenarios. But this is just kind of like a first pass of what we're going to be looking at.
Okay, quality assurance and quality control. We've got a lot of tools at our disposal here, but really want to touch on kind of what Drew Harden was talking about a little while ago. For this project, we're really going to focus on the exterior of the building, the envelopes, the roofs, the brick, the windows, really dig into those, test them. Mechanical systems, electrical systems, we want to test those out. And most importantly, special inspections. Get them in there, inspect the building to make sure we know what we got so we don't have any surprises.
We're running out of time, so we're going to move forward here.
Another motto that we kind of live by is the students are coming, the kids are coming. And we use that on pretty much any project we do because it's true. There's going to be a date that we got to get these kids into the building and get the staff there. That being said, I just want to say that I'm going to be committed to do that and lead the charge for that for as Monteith goes. For many reasons, I got a lot of friends and obviously my kids go there as well, along with Drew and several others. But anyhow.
You'll never hear the end of it if you're late. Last thing, we're gonna wrap up here. We do appreciate y'all's time here. I realize old that habit's not young, got a piece of gum in my mouth, a room full of educators like an idiot there. But anyways, my kids have realized the benefits of what Topsail offers. And it's not only dual enrollment for my daughter who's going into her junior year right now, Tally, and then my son has just recently secured full-time employment at Jeff Gordon Chevrolet through the Auto Tech program at combo between Topsail and Cape Fear Community College. When he was leaving this morning, I'll leave you with this. He left about 6:45. He had his gym bag and he got 2 things that he took from Topsail High School. One of those is a great opportunity, obviously, to secure full-time employment with his education that he got at Topsail High School, giving him that jump start. And the second thing was that squatted truck that he got into that he still hasn't left behind. So hopefully that's going away soon, but he's a mechanic, so we'll figure it out. So thank you all so much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do we make time for questions?
That's what there is time for questions.
Okay.
I guess the one thing I really took away is it appears that a lot of you are very local to the Hampstead area. And I see that as, that is a definite plus. And the fact, including those graduation pictures at the end, that was good.
I had to bribe my kids to let me put a couple of them. They saw last night when I was doing some memorization. My daughter particularly was like, "Dad, you cannot show that," but it's a little late now.
Well, we are very, very proud of our CTE program.
Yes, ma'am.
And
I wanted to say something that I said to the other group. I really appreciate you all listening to or recognizing our issues. Traffic, of course, is a big one, and getting our queuing lanes off the highway and our student drop-off and pickup. And I really liked that third lane, queuing lane, I'll call it, to go around the backside of the school with a canopy for the kids to get out. So, I appreciate that work. That's very thoughtful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hanson.
I don't have anything.
Done? All right, thank you.
Thank you all so much. Have a great day.
Have a good day. Thank you.
And happy one day late Memorial Day. Yeah. Thank you. Have a good day. Bill, thank you so much. Thank you.
You don't want to do the swing by for you left.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you.
She's supposed to have some paper for me,
Yeah.
which also may require your attendance
Okay.
I'm sure it'll be needed for something.
for planning purposes.
Well,
If you look at the addition, they would damage. Yeah, but you can keep some.
But I'm worried about how far out of code, are we so far out of code with that old building that
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
gonna be, cost more to renovate? And I know that's not what
It
we're.
sounds like a projector screen, like when it's old, it's coming down or whatever, but it's something up in
What is that?
we don't know this.
I have no idea, that's what we're trying to figure out.
When you don't have numbers, it's kind of hard, but
Is it something from Jason's?
what we're looking at today is who do we trust to design and build?
It's not, it's something in this building, it's happened one other meeting.
But the conversation we're having, it does need to be had. I mean, definitely.
We don't have to rush into it.
We do not, but we do need to pick somebody today. And if y'all are not, if y'all, and I will say that if you are not comfortable with picking someone today, we can always push this off until the June meeting. So always know. This is a lot of information. This is a lot of information. I'm sorry.
Definitely. Don't apologize. No, it's a lot to absorb. So, are you ready for the Bordeaux? Okay.
I believe
All
we
right,
are.
Bordeaux.
Yes.
Tough decision. Just thinking, because, you know, at the end of the day, you renovate that old building, you still got no building.
Have to make a council forum session the other day, though.
Yes, if you. They didn't wear all y'all out, did they? It's a lot of gab going on in here.
Oh, you do have. Never mind, they printed them. Oh, you have one? Oh, okay, that's not, never mind.
Yeah, that's not you.
Good, good. Don't look at that one.
Thank you. Good morning.
Are y'all stockpiling for him at all?
Yeah, good idea.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Good. How you doing? Good. Hello. Thank you.
Are you gathering in? Yeah. I give you, I just wanted to throw it up.
Why don't you step over here? Is that the projections in your face?
Tom, is Jason even?
Should we jump right in? All right. Well, it's great to see everyone this morning. On behalf of the Bordeaux Mosley team, we want to first thank you for the opportunity to continue our
our relationship into another project. It's kind of no greater confirmation than when you are working with a school system and you have the opportunity to jump right into another one on the relationships that you built. And really it comes down to project execution through all phases. And so I want to thank all of you for the opportunity to come present our team and hopefully continue forward with Pender County Schools. We're really excited to present kind of some preliminary ideas on logistics, design concepts that are kind of scattered throughout our presentation, but we do want to underscore that until we receive your feedback and really get, key thoughts and input from stakeholders, we can only go but so far. And so I want to encourage you all to stop us if you have any questions or if you want us to expound on anything at any time during the course of the presentation. So big picture, Bordeaux Construction was founded in 1977. We only operate in North Carolina, and you kind of see our numbers up there. The highest percentage of work that we perform is in alternative delivery. So that's in CM at risk and design build. And the main reason for that is because of the value we can add during pre-construction. A lot of times there's, pre-constructions can be somewhat of an oversight, but usually the pre-construction period, which coincides with design, is the same length of actual construction. So there's a lot of work that we put in early on to make sure a lot of problems are head off before we ever step foot on site. And I think we've demonstrated that at J.H. Lee, and we want to get involved as early as possible to make sure we can kind of reproduce those results and even beyond those results with the efficiency we have with our relationships already in place. And whenever possible, we team with Mosley.
And so, Mosley, we've rebranded since we were awarded J.H. Lee with you guys. All we did was drop the architects off, and all that means is that we acknowledge that we have designers beyond just architects within our firm. You guys have got to work a lot with Lori, and, so we want to make sure that we're Mosley and not just Mosley Architects. But the highlighted things we have up here really just focus more on the kind of work that we do. We do a ton of K-12 work, so our acknowledgement from the building design and construction organization really highlights where we rank among other firms solely focusing on K-12, and then the amount of schoolwork we've done, school construction going way above $1 billion. That's a lot of schools, and that is what I focus on every day, and it allows us to be able to bring to you as a client what we're seeing within other districts and what we're seeing within education, but also be able to listen to teachers and staff within Pender County Schools to make sure we're designing schools that focus on what's happening here, because that's important.
Yeah, so we kind of skipped over introductions because it's no mistake that we are really trying to carry forward our same team from J.H. Lee. We've been working together for several years. Certainly do not take the relationships that we've all built together for granted, but we have a much deeper team than who is here standing before you, and I believe everyone knows everyone except maybe Steve Campbell with PDC. He's he's a mechanical engineer, he's going to be handling all of our MEP. But I think everyone else knows each other very well. There are a lot of folks that were disappointed they couldn't come down this morning, but with the limited time frame, kind of wanted to keep it as efficient as possible. But deep pre-construction team that are specialized in, BIM. When it moves into construction, we've got dedicated safety, and of course our design team, many of whom are listed on the, I think the placemats in front of you, you've all met, and they're going to be engaged as well. And I mentioned, our alternative delivery, Mosley is our preferred partner, and I think this map is also on your placemats, I believe, really tells the story. Mosley and Bordeaux operate throughout the state, and we kind of have some overlaps here on, where their territory may be. Bordeaux Construction's mainly in the eastern 2/3 of North Carolina, and the stars indicate where we're currently working together, which there is no shortage of. We are pretty seamless in how we operate. The relationship goes back around 20 years now, and yeah, we really believe we are a strong team.
a ton to add to that. I just think that, again, it just brings our expertise together and being able to, especially in a design build situation, we're able to have the opportunity to pick our teaming partner. And it's not by coincidence that we have picked each other, because we have respect for each other and work well together to provide that respect, and that ability to work together provides better products for our clients.
Another advantage of the Bordeaux Mosley team is that over the past few years, 2+, we've been working with all of these trade partners and all of these design firms on Topsail Middle School that will be coming over after they finish J.H. Lee. And so having these firms confirmed availability is going to have just a lot of positives with respect to how we can utilize their budget expertise and how we can utilize what they bring to the table.
Yeah, I mean, we know just in the repurposing of Topsail Middle School, it's going to be heavy in plumbing, electrical, and framing and drywall. We know that. What we also know is there's a shortage of these trade partners in the area. I don't know if you all recall the bid tabs from J.H. Lee, but we had 1 plumbing contractor, 2 electrical, and 2 drywall. And these are the main players that operate around here. Things can change, with what's going on out in the market, and what we want to make sure of is that we have the trades that have the highest technical expertise that can assist us during the pre-construction period, but also we can reproduce the results that are going on out there at J.H. Lee. These are photos that we've taken out there of the same foremen that are likely going to be slated to Topsail Middle. And so huge difference in this job is kind of heading that challenge off at the pass. If we get to a point where we're ready to go out to bid and bring folks on board, and you don't have the capacity to support what will be a large project for these trades specifically.
Something else really cool I wanted to point out from this slide, that journeyman electrician in the middle, his name is Eli Owings. He was actually a student at Topsail Middle School back in the day, and he stayed in town and he got a job with Pitt Electric, and now he's excited for the possibility to come and work on the school that he attended.
So just, talking about challenges that we've overcome at J.H. Lee, we had a consolidated design period. So we're talking about the largest K-8 east of the 95, and we shrunk the design period down. And so that was a lot of working hand in hand with not only you as Pender County Schools, but also Bordeaux, to make sure that we were, as we designed and as we moved forward, we were all on the same page and making sure. Now we know that we also had opportunities where grants came in later on and we were creating CTE spaces later. So, we weren't able to consolidate all of those opportunities in that, but we were able to have the funds to be able to make those opportunities happen. And then understanding the backlog at DPI, DOI, and DEQ. These are just things that come with the territory. We have to review plans through all of those agencies. I don't feel like DEQ is going to play as big of a role in this because it's more of an interior renovation, but we don't want to just look over that. So we have Withers Ravenel, same civil and landscape team, plugged into this project, and they are very aware of what it's going to require to go through those processes. Same thing with NCDPI and DOI. We work hand in hand with them. They've changed over a lot of their reviewers. All of those reviewers now have my cell phone number, which can be a good and a bad thing, but it does allow us to have that dialogue with them, and we will hit them early with the kind of projects this is and the kind of changes we're going to do to make sure that we don't get stuck on the back end.
And as you know, the project site was very saturated, and it caused a lot of issues up front. But even with all these challenges that we had to overcome, we were able to start the surcharge without having a full GMP. And now this site is going to be one of the largest K-8 schools in North Carolina. We also had delayed start on the off-site sewer and roadway construction due to some of the some of the state agencies that we had to deal with. So instead of letting that hold us back, we decided to bid out the off-site roadway halfway through the project, as well as set aside allowances for the off-site sewer. So the second we got those permits in hand, we bid out the off-site roadway probably about a month ago now, and we've actually started breaking ground on the off-site sewer and reconciled that allowance, which actually came under budget. So I think that just goes to show how we can work as a team to find creative solutions to some of the things that will pop up during construction.
So you improvised.
We did, yes, sir. That's a nice way of saying it.
Yeah, we don't want to spend a terrible amount of time talking about the current job because you hear about it all the time, but this is a really good platform to show that we know this, Topsail Middle repurposing is going to have its own set of challenges. And we've dealt with pretty tricky things in the past, and we're ready to do it again.
And with the budget management is not just a contract that we have with y'all, it's how we operate. So right now, we're 2/3 of the way through construction at JH Lee, and we've only spent less than 3% of the design build contingency. And I think that just goes to show our financial discipline that we have, and that we can actually acknowledge the fact that our project, what we save now, can be used on later projects down the line for Pender County school systems. On top of that, we've actually increased the amount that we have in our owner contingency. We're about $900,000 higher than what we started with at the very beginning of the project due to some reconciliations of allowances. Now, what that has allowed us to do is that we can now use the owner contingency to fund the off-site roadway, which will open up funding in the soft cost logs for different things that the school system will want to use. And one of them, for example, could be Topsail Middle School. So all that to say is that we know everything we do now has downstream effects, and we take that very seriously.
And job site safety is another thing that we take extremely seriously on all of our projects. And as y'all have been aware of, and y'all have been out several times to take tours, the beam raising ceremony was the most recent. But we've already achieved over 350,000 safe man hours at JH Lee. One way we're able to do that is teaming with our trade partners and also with OSHA. We bring in OSHA's Consultative Services Division, and JH Lee is a SHARP site. That is one of their highest levels of safety that they achieve, and we're able to bring consultative services in every month. We do deep dives into our safety program, into our subcontractor safety program, and we get buy-in from the guys that are working on site. OSHA is able to mingle with those guys and talk with those guys instead of having a relationship of fear. Most companies fear having OSHA on site. We invite them to come out. We invite them to come in and be a part of making sure our guys go home safe at the end of the day, because we care about our employees and we want to make sure they're able to go home to their family just as we want to do. But at Topsail Middle School, we plan to bring it into the OSHA STAR program, which is the pinnacle. That is the highest you can get in the state of North Carolina, and only a few contractors in the state are in the OSHA STAR program. And that is our plan for Topsail Middle.
So this is obviously a very preliminary plan for site logistics at Topsail Middle School. And our goal here is to make sure that we have a clear separation between our construction operations and the goings-on at Topsail High School and Topsail Elementary, which we know will be in full session during construction. And somewhat wanted to touch on, obviously being preliminary, Pender County Schools is going to have a lot of input as to how we want this set up, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure there's a clear separation. We have our construction operations going on in the backgrounds where we don't have to be worried about. So after our initial site walk, we were able to go in and use one of our new technologies. As you know, there's a lot of ways that we leverage technology in construction, whether that be through Oculo or our BIM coordination model scans. This is a technology you're not quite familiar with yet because it's more suited for existing facilities. And what Matterport does is we will go into a building and we can scan it in a day or two. It'll take a laser LiDAR scan of the existing spot, and we can use this for takeoffs. The design team can use it for their vision, and our subcontractors can see exactly what they're walking into without actually having to go out to the site. Which there's a lot of advantages to this, one of which being less disruptions during the school year, because as you know, we'd have to go in, take measurements, come back out, leave somebody there from the school system late, or during the day, we'd have to interrupt some sort of going on. But with this technology, it'll be much less so.
Yeah, much more efficient.
So, going from understanding the existing building and utilizing the technologies like Matterport, our next step is really walking into the design process. And so our process won't be any different. Just because the bones are there doesn't mean that we aren't going to walk through this in a design workshop phase. And so we'll go through and do a workshop with you guys, much like we did with the K-8, and understand the stakeholders and bringing everyone in. And this project is interesting. We understand some of the programs you're looking to put in there, but they're very different. So understanding how they function together, how they need to be separated, how we create new entrances. So those are the kind of things that we're going to understand from these workshops. And then from there, we've taken an opportunity to just kind of walk through and see what could be. And this is without the workshop. So now I get to be in my little bubble and like, what could this be? So some repurposing ideas that we have. There will be moments where we'll be doing things like just refreshing the space. So the science classrooms are good.
So when I walked Topsail, I noticed, and I actually did end up talking to one of the science teachers, the wood on it looks really good, the tops look good, so they didn't see a reason to put new ones in there. So the science rooms, and I don't know if it was all of them, but several of them look like they could just get fresh floor, fresh paint, and maybe some pull-down electrical, which helps with some of the different programs that they might want to do.
Then we'll start talking about some higher specialty spaces. So any of your CTE labs, currently, there aren't really set up for that. So how do we renovate spaces to capture what's happening in some of these labs? So more in your ag mechanic or ag science labs, opening up, having roller doors, having the pull down reels like we're proposing in the science, so that there's opportunity to use the hand tools and other things like that, and creating a higher volume space, because that's obviously really important in these CTE spaces. So getting rid of the ceilings, getting new lighting in there.
So the lighting is what a lot of the rooms really needed some bringing into the new century, not century, but I apologize. But it is dark. We were walking through, it is very dark in that building. So the lighting is paramount, and making sure that you get the lighting, especially in the CT, that keeps it safe. It makes it easier for them to see the little intricacies that they might be working on in a CT or a science lab. So we will definitely be focusing on that. And then in the media center, just giving a couple areas, different areas like we have at J.H. Lee and their media centers, where you could collaborate as a group, or you could do some private group sessions on a media wall, where we had 2 media walls, bringing in a small group and doing that, but providing the different zones in a media center that modern day media centers ask. It's very closed in, and we want to open it up and make it inviting.
Well, and we're excited to have the conversations about what the media center looks like and what the dining is, because now you're talking about having a high school that's adjacent, and what are these spaces? Because we're only pulling the 9th graders here and some of the CT students here just for a part of the class, their class day. So these are spaces that I think have opportunities to have some really exciting things happen in them, and I don't know what they are yet. And maybe you don't either, but that's where a lot of this design comes in. And so, creating these, maybe this is more of just a grab and go kind of cafeteria. If the main cafeteria at the high school still functions as is, and you cater over just box lunches. There are so many things that can happen because you have the space. And I think that's something that you as a district haven't had before, is we've now got the space. So now what do we do with it? And so both of these larger spaces really allow for that conversation.
And one of the things Ashley said is, you all may not know what you need day one, and maybe through the design process day one. And we did work really well hand in hand with Bordeaux when all of a sudden there was a CTE program at J.H. Lee, then we had to have a fax room. We are able to pivot with them in the 11th hour and make sure that you all do have what you need day one.
And then just moving outside the building, you know, creating these main entrance points, you know, what does it look like? You've got this great band of roofing that goes along the whole building. That dates the building, right? We as architects and designers can tell you almost exactly when it was built because there's another one, some other town that looks just like it. And so, you know, it makes it for, again, great bones to be able to create these opportunities for a new face to the school. And, you know, having the different programs, we want to make wayfinding really important. We want your parents that show up with their brand new ninth graders to know exactly where they're going to be and exactly where they're supposed to enter the school. We also want your 12th graders that are coming over to take their CTE classes to know exactly where they're going. And so we want to be able to work with you on how the site functions, not only from a pedestrian point with the students coming over from the main or the upper high school, but also the parents coming in from a vehicular way. You know, there's a lot of different moving parts that are going to happen on this campus. And so we want to help you understand that before we start saying, well, we could do this and we could do that, because we probably could do a million things, but we want to make sure that all the decisions kind of make sense before we start talking about where the pieces go.
Yes, so thank you again for your time. You know, we're excited to be here today. We're excited about the project, and we hope that we've communicated that we are, you know, a proven team that is going to have consistency in the actual people. They're going to be doing all the work, and so we can continue on with what we've already established from a relationship standpoint. And our firms together are tough competition to do exactly this style work. And so thank you so much for the opportunity, and I'd like to open it up for any questions you may have.
I just have a couple, or actually one. Just trying to, TA Loving's a big company. Your TA Loving, Monteith, and y'all, are y'all like the third?
Size-wise?
Who's the biggest? Who's the biggest?
TA Loving is probably the biggest.
Okay, who's second?
I don't know what Monteith's revenue is.
What are y'all's?
We are in the 120 to 160 range
Per year?
per year.
Okay. Because my first thought when I saw, can I say this? I'm gonna say it anyway. So, when TA Loving was up here, they had a whole room full of people, and I knew a bunch of them already. But I was just thinking that for a project this size, they had a lot of high dollar people standing up here. I know they had big salaries too. I got to thinking about that. And, you know, I think this job requires a smaller company. I mean, not that you couldn't look at the school you're building for us, but that's just my first thought. I mean, you had Boney up here. I knew who all those people were. That was just something that struck me.
Well, I can give you my thoughts, and I don't know what those teams' game plans are. But you know, we do larger projects and we do smaller projects, and there is a tendency for some of the smaller projects for companies that have much bigger fish to fry to put
On the back burner.
To put junior folks on it. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, there's a lot of risk in construction. Everyone's out to, you know, not do it for practice. You know, we have our same team here, you know, Gabe is our project manager, Paul is our superintendent, and Ben Brisson is going to be engaged in the job as the general superintendent, you know, like we've set out. And I don't know if all of you have heard, but Gabe is getting sent over to UAE. He's in the reserves. He was an Army officer. And I will be the point person in his absence, the same way we built J.H. Lee. I was the point person on pre-construction, and I ran pre-construction myself with some support staff from our team, of course. And the purpose would be to have, you know, Gabe and I is kind of your face from the construction and pre-construction side, and is exactly the way we are currently operating on the other much larger project.
Yeah, I guess what I was trying to say, I think we would get more personalized service with a smaller company, is what I'm trying to say.
And I think we're definitely the smallest.
Yeah, because I've seen that. But I've seen that before. You get pushed off. I mean, I had a little project I had, and I got pushed off by Barnhill, the site contractor or whatever. I just got pushed off. And they kept telling me, well, we're doing Lowe's, we're doing Home Depot. I said, I don't really care about Lowe's and Home Depot. I'm talking about my little job. I need my little job done. So that's just what I was thinking.
Well, you see Gabe and I every other month, and
Yeah.
it would continue that way for the next several years.
Something I was smiling about when you said about, and I know you saw me, you were talking about job safety. Back when I was doing work 40 years ago, our job safety program was, okay, boys, here's a step ladder, don't stand on the top rung. And that was all it was. So all that stuff came a long way.
It's come a long way since
Yeah.
then, sir.
That's all I got.
Good.
No,
I don't.
no questions. I think we've worked with you guys, oh, sorry. I think we've worked with you guys for long enough now. We know exactly what you're capable of, and it's, you know, like I said, you know, I think we've got a good working relationship with all of you, so
Thank you.
no questions right now.
And thank you for coming today and actually
Yes.
being willing to put another proposal together.
Absolutely.
We look forward to it.
Thank you.
We must have not bothered you so much, you're willing to come back, so.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, I think that's the last item on the agenda, so you have a motion to adjourn?
This was an action agenda.
What?
This was an action item.
All right, meeting's adjourned then. You're right.
Yeah.
We gotta pick the third
It's
today.
an action, well, what we could do,
You don't have to.
I'm not picking it today,
well,
unless y'all wanna go.
I personally, I would like to have a little bit more time to think of it. This was a lot of information, and I'll be honest with you, we had three really good contenders, to my opinion. And I would like a little bit more time to kind of mull over it and go over the vast amount of material that we got. If it would suit the board, I would like to make a motion to take this agenda item and move it over to the June meeting for action.
I agree.
So there's my motion.
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That is unanimous.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, somebody wanna make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say yes. Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.